Chappie was released on Blu-ray June 16, 2015, written and directed by Neill Blomkamps. It stars Sholto Copley, Dev Patel, Hugh Jackman, Sigourney Weaver, and South African music duo Ninja and Yolandi Visser, and it runs 120 minutes. In the near future, crime is patrolled by a mechanized police force. When a worker at Tetraval, who designed and makes the robots, steals a damaged one to test a personal project AI program he's been working on, Chappie is born. While some see this as an opportunity to use Chappie for criminal purposes, others see a robot that can think and feel for itself as a much larger threat and try to destroy it. Though not one of his best, this is another great, enjoyable film by Neill Blomkamps. Again, he excels at merging sci-fi with a believable reality. In a way, it almost feels like a different version of RoboCop, which I also love, as I notice many similarities between the two. One thing I noticed off the bat is that it's not as grand as District 9 or Elysium. It's a more contained story focusing on characters more than large ideas, such as, say, a space station or a few thousand alien refugees. And I felt more emotion than those other two films when you see this humanoid-shaped, indestructible robot acting like a frightened child, being manipulated, harassed, captured, and dismantled, running in fear, being attacked by a gang of punks. It really messes with you. He could crush anyone he comes across and doesn't even know it. The stakes in this film aren't that high. They basically consist of a small-time gang owing a much more dangerous gang a lot of money, and a workplace rivalry with Chappie in between all of it. The beginning documentary-style opening failed to impress me as it tried to start like District 9, but felt somewhat half-assed, out of place, and didn't make an impact, as the intro of District 9 did. Dion, played by Dev Patel, and Vincent, played by Hugh Jackman, both work for Tetraval, and have an intense workplace rivalry going on. Vincent designed a more bulky and practical police robot to Dion's smaller humanoid robots. That sounds familiar. He's losing funding. He's jealous of Dion and the success of his robot design and tries to sabotage them to make his robot the only solution to a crisis that he purposely created. The acting is pretty good. It can be hit or miss sometimes when you have musicians acting in movies, but Ninja and Yolandi Visser, playing a pair of gangsters, pulled it off nicely, providing both serious and comedic moments and essentially becoming Chappie's mom and dad. The movie at times feels like an advertisement for the band, as they wear and feature band logos and artwork. It doesn't seem distracting to the movie, but I tend to roll my eyes at product placement in films. I've never heard of this group before seeing the movie, so it's good for them getting more exposure to their music. Having a couple of their music videos and the special features would have been a nice touch, though. Well, maybe not. Now, I'm not here to review them as human beings, just their performance in this movie. Neill Blomkamps regular Sholto Copley provides the voice of Chappie, only processed to sound more like a robot. Early on in the film, you hear him repeating a lot of what others are saying as he learns, before eventually speaking for himself. There was one scene during a robbery where Chappie hit a guard with some throwing stars. His maker, Dion, told him never to use guns, but the gangsters taught him that stabbing people makes them sleep. As he approaches the guard, who begins begging for his life, Chappie pauses, realizes what he's done, and apologizes to the guard. Now, this might have been a somewhat powerful scene if when Chappie hops into the getaway vehicle he says nothing as they speed away. But as they do, Chappie yells out to the guard, "I thought you were going to sleep." I'm sure he said it as he learned what he did, and it does feel it fits the character as Chappie becomes more vocal with his thoughts throughout the film. but it sounded like the line was meant to be funny. It doesn't seem to fit well in the scene. I almost forgot about Chappie's battery when writing this review. His battery gets damaged and has to find a way to get into another body before the battery dies. It doesn't become a major issue until nearing the end of the film, and is pretty much forgotten until a character says something about it. Chappie is the main character, and the subject of his battery and him dying seemed more like a subplot, as I kept forgetting about it. I suppose there was a disconnect for me because he's just a robot, alive and conscious as he is. I didn't feel it a big deal if he were to die. Or to say it another way, if his battery were to run down. Just as standard, no one in Neill Blomkamp's films is the real good guy. Everyone is a bad person in some way, whether they're gangsters, evil or selfish, jealous, or head of a major corporation. There never seems to be a clear-cut good guy, just bad guys and worse guys. But when the main bad guy gets his comeuppance, it's always satisfying to see them get what's coming to them. The large action set piece near the end is well done. At least the camera work is easier to follow than the action in Elysium. Overall, it's a good film. Another near-future sci-fi from Neill Blomkamp. He's great at it. This is one I would revisit every so often. 7.5 out of 10.
In the near future, crime is patrolled by an oppressive mechanized police force. But now, the people are fighting back. When one police droid, Chappie, is stolen and given new programming, he becomes the first robot with the ability to think and feel for himself. As powerful, destructive forces start to see Chappie as a danger to mankind and order, they will stop at nothing to maintain the status quo and ensure that Chappie is the last of his kind. And Zilla Valentine of GlobalGrind.com says, absolute brilliance. The movie's good. I wouldn't go so far as to say absolute brilliance. I mean, he just copied most of RoboCop. Special features. We Are Tetraval. Casting Sigourney Weaver, Dev Patel, and Hugh Jackman, the three employees from Tetraval in the film. Alternate ending. It's not as good as the one they used. Extended scene of the bad guy getting defeated. Chappie, streetwise professor. Chappie's changes in mannerisms throughout the movie. Performance and design. Lots of behind-the-scenes footage. And I love the side-by-side effects comparisons. Arms race, the weapons and robots. Interviews with armorers on the guns. Interviews with the effects designers on the robots. Bringing Chappie to life, the visual effects. Physical, industrial building of robots. And more special effects info. From Tetraval to Chappie. Director's older idea of a company who makes police robots, turning into Chappie. Keep it gangster. Interviews with the gangster characters, and info about their characters. The reality of robotics. That goes into the real-world evolution of artificial intelligence. Josie, real city, and sci-fi setting. Info about the city, Johannesburg, and shooting there at different locations, and keeping the crew safe. Rogue robot. Deconstructing the stunts and special effects. Info from the stunt and special effects teams on particular scenes. The Art of Chappie Gallery. An interactive gallery you go through with your remote.
Well, that's my take on Chappie. Thank you for watching 3 AM Reviews. Help a brother out, subscribe, like, and throw me a comment. Let me know what you think of Chappie. And with that, bye for now. Take care, peace out, and cut.